Growing specialty vegetables, grains, roots, and fruits in small residential spaces begins with selecting the correct seed packets and immediately matching each crop to the right location before planting. Instead of choosing seeds randomly, each plant must be paired with sunlight availability, container depth, airflow, and structural support from the start. When selecting seed packets, always review planting depth, spacing, germination time, maturity period, and seasonal recommendations. For root crops such as parsnips, rutabaga, daikon radish, and horseradish, choose varieties labeled for direct sowing and deep root development. These must be planted directly into tall containers or cut plastic barrels positioned in full sun. Because root crops do not transplant well, sow them immediately in their final container at the correct depth indicated on the packet. For kohlrabi, fennel, endive, escarole, and watercress, select compact or container-adapted varieties. Place wide, medium-depth containers in areas receiving steady sunlight or partial shade depending on crop tolerance. Prepare shallow rows in enriched soil, distribute seeds evenly, cover lightly, and water gently to initiate germination. Grains and legumes such as quinoa, millet, amaranth, lentils, chickpeas, edamame, lima beans, and peanuts require maximum sunlight. Choose short-season or small-scale varieties suited to residential planting. Position grow bags or reinforced containers in the brightest section of the yard or balcony before sowing. Plant seeds directly at proper spacing to allow airflow and pod formation. Climbing crops like hops require structural planning before planting. Install trellises or vertical supports along walls or fences. Use certified rhizomes rather than loose seeds for reliable establishment. Plant at the base of the support system so vertical growth begins immediately. Perennial crops such as rhubarb, cranberries, gooseberries, and currants should be planted in large containers enriched with compost. Choose starter crowns or rooted plants for faster establishment. Position containers where sunlight conditions remain consistent year-round, then plant at proper depth and water thoroughly to settle the soil around roots. Ginger and turmeric are planted using healthy rhizome sections with visible buds. Place wide containers in warm, partially protected areas. Plant shallowly, cover lightly, and maintain consistent moisture during early growth. Dwarf fruit varieties such as figs, persimmons, and pomegranates should be planted in deep, stable containers with excellent drainage. Select a permanent sunny location before planting to avoid future root disturbance. After positioning, fill with enriched soil, set the plant at correct depth, and water thoroughly. Sunflowers should be chosen according to height indicated on the packet. Dwarf varieties are suitable for balconies. Plant directly in final containers placed in full sun to support strong stem development. After planting, the germination phase begins. During this stage, soil must remain consistently moist but not saturated. Avoid disturbing the surface to protect emerging seedlings. Once sprouts appear, thin overcrowded seedlings according to spacing recommendations. Proper spacing improves airflow and reduces disease risk. As plants enter the vegetative growth stage, begin light fertilization using compost or organic amendments. Monitor leaf color and structure to assess nutrient balance. Install stakes or supports for taller crops before stems become heavy. During flowering and fruit formation stages, watering consistency becomes critical. Legumes and fruiting plants require stable moisture to prevent pod drop or fruit cracking. Continue removing damaged leaves and inspect regularly for pests. Early intervention prevents yield loss. For grain crops such as quinoa, millet, and amaranth, reduce watering slightly as seed heads mature and begin drying. For legumes like lentils and chickpeas, allow pods to dry partially on the plant before harvest. Root crops reach harvest readiness based on size and maturity days listed on the packet. Gently loosen soil before pulling to prevent breakage. Leafy crops can be harvested progressively by removing outer leaves while allowing inner growth to continue. Fruit crops such as figs and pomegranates should be harvested when fully colored and slightly soft. Cranberries and currants are collected once fully developed and firm. Rhubarb stalks are pulled carefully without damaging the crown, allowing continued production in future cycles. After harvest, the cycle continues inside the home. Fresh roots, grains, greens, and fruits are brought to the kitchen table. Family members gather to wash the produce carefully, removing soil and trimming leaves. Parents and children participate together, learning how each crop was grown and how it will be prepared. Vegetables are sliced on wooden cutting boards, leafy greens are chopped for salads, grains and legumes are rinsed and prepared for cooking, and fresh fruits are arranged on the table. The preparation process becomes an extension of the garden itself, connecting effort in the soil with nourishment at the table. Finally, the family sits together to share a meal prepared from their own harvest. The food reflects months of planning, planting, care, and patience. This closing stage completes the full cycle, from seed packet selection and careful planting in small residential spaces, to harvest, preparation, and shared consumption. With disciplined management from seed to table, even walls, balconies, patios, and compact yards can become reliable continuous sources of diverse and meaningful food production throughout the year.